Good afternoon and welcome to this lesson. It's English as usual. P6 is our class and it's term 2. We are following these lessons using our term 2 workbooks, and we always appreciate those who keep with us. Thanks for supporting yourself during this lengthy lockdown. I believe you are learning, following the exact content we have in our workbooks. Those who have not yet bought the workbooks, they are sold at school at an amount of 40,000. Yes. Per 4. In fact, each of the 4 subjects costs 10,000, and that is 40,000 to get your workbook for English, so that you follow the lessons in a meaningful way. We have so far reached page 56 in our last subtopic, which was carpentry. Under carpentry, we saw a lot of different stuff, including the comprehension, which we ended with. There's something I told you whether to do, and that means we'll be doing whatever we missed when we come back to school. Then we had a look at another subtopic, and that was tailoring. Today we are looking at a new subtopic, that is baking. Baking is the subject we want to look at today. And like any other subtopic we have been seeing before, tailoring, carpentry, now baking, we have the vocabulary lists. Yes, it's the vocabulary list first, as you can see on the board, as you can see in the workbook on page 56. Yes, we have different new words in our workbook. The chalkboard work you see is a summary of what we have in the workbook, because it may not make much sense to repeat whatever you have in the workbook on the board. So here we summarize what you have in the booklet, then we try and guide you on how to handle or how to answer or how to approach the different questions that you have in that workbook. So let's take time to go through the vocabulary list on the chalkboard. We have the first one as oven, and the next one as butter, bakery, then bread, bake, then flour. The word is flour, not flour, baking flour, then pinch of salt, a pinch of salt. If you ever pinched someone, you know the fingers we use to pinch. Yes, it's normally the thumb and the index finger. Yes, you use the thumb plus your index finger to pinch. So a pinch of salt is that amount that can be held between the thumb and your index finger. That is a pinch of salt. Next is tear. Tears. Yeah, when you talk of tears, those who have ever celebrated birthdays know what the tear is on a cake. One of the levels of a cake is known as a tear. Next, slice. Then bun, we have all ever eaten buns. Yes, buns are a type of cake, but for us we call them bread. When you look up the meaning of bun in your dictionary, you'll discover a bun is a type of cake. Our next word is butter. After butter we see flavor. Flavor, the word you have in your workbook is an American word. It may not be similar to exactly what I have on the chalkboard. The Americans leave out you in the word flavor. So if you have flavor without you, it's correct, but it's American English. Mine is also correct, but it is British English. So in British English, we use O-U-R, whereas the Americans use O-R. That is in flavor. Next, turn off. This is U-R-N, turn off. Where we turn off machines like ovens. When baking, you turn off the oven, meaning you switch it off. Then turn on, which is the opposite of turn off. The next one is greater. Finally, or second last, knead. That is to press and stretch. What do we normally need? We normally need dough. D-O-U-G-H. Let me write that word as well. Dough, a mixture of wheat flour and water that is used for baking bread, baking cakes, and so on. That is dough. You press and stretch dough. We say you are kneading it. We knead the dough, or we press and stretch it. That is to knead. Finally, frying pan, like the word sounds. Frying, it's a pan used for frying pancakes, frying what? Maybe daddies, and so on. What next? What do we need to sum up the vocabulary? Let's identify the countable nouns from the vocabulary list above. And after identifying those countable nouns, we are going to form their plurals. Form their plurals. Look at the nouns here that can be counted. Then form their plural, or the plural form of that specific noun. An example, if I have oven, an oven is a countable noun. We can count ovens, 1, 2, 3 ovens. Meaning, identify the noun that is oven, then tell yourself or tell your friend that plural form of oven, and that is ovens. Next, I see bakery. Bakery changes to plural form and it becomes bakeries. B-A-K-E-R. What happens to the last Y coming after a consonant? That last Y changes to I before you add ES to form the word bakeries. Places where bread is made. Places where bread, cakes, etc. are made. That is, for those are bakeries. So identify many other nouns that can be counted or countable nouns and turn them to plural form. We have the evaluation exercises on page 56. Okay, from page 56 to page 58. Try them out, fill in, and get the answers right. That is if you're doing the right thing. So, page 56 to 58, those pages show the evaluation activities about the vocabulary we are covering on this page 56. So, having done that, after finishing the evaluation activities, you are going to look at something new, and that is abstract nouns. That is abstract nouns. Abstract nouns, let me say something about them. These are nouns that show state, ideas, or feelings. They show state, ideas, or feelings. We are saying abstract nouns cannot be seen, they cannot be touched, they can only be felt. You can't see them, you can't touch them, but you can only feel them. I'll give you an example of pain. If you feel pain, we can't tell you to touch that pain or to show us that pain. Instead, you can show us where the part of the body where that pain is. Meaning, pain, the fact that it is a noun and cannot be seen, it cannot be touched, is an example of an abstract noun. This is a lesson, and in this lesson you are acquiring something you call knowledge. When you acquire knowledge in a lesson, you can't take it and show it to someone. This is the knowledge I acquired. So knowledge is an example of an abstract noun. A noun you cannot see, you cannot touch, but you just feel. The way I feel, I've learned a lot. I've acquired a lot of knowledge in this lesson. So knowledge is another example of an abstract noun. So let's look at how we can form abstract nouns from other nouns. Formation of abstract nouns from other nouns. We can form abstract nouns from other nouns or from other verbs, from verbs, from adjectives, by using suffixes. By using suffixes. What is a suffix? You may be wondering. Teacher, we can form abstract nouns using suffixes. Fine. But now what's a suffix? What is a suffix? As you think, let me also think. May I put my answer as? suffix is a letter or group of letters. A letter, it may be a letter, just one letter, or group of letters added to the end. You add it to, not add. Add it to the end of a word to change its meaning. Okay, if that's the definition of a suffix, it means I get my word, I add there a suffix, then I've changed its meaning to something else, or to a different word. I can use the word admire to form another word from admire. A word that has a completely different meaning from admire. And those by adding other letters. Those letters that are added are the ones we call suffixes or a suffix. Let's look at the way abstract nouns can be formed from verbs, from adjectives, or from other nouns using suffix I or N. Number one, we have admire. When you change admire to a noun, you get this. Admire. Mind about the changes that take place, the additional changes that take place. Admiration. We have admiration as our noun. I or N is there. Check. We have letter T entering the equation. We have letter A entering the equation. So that's our abstract noun from admire. Then verb add. From add we form the abstract noun as addition. On which page are we? Someone may be wondering. On which page are we? We are on page 59. That's where we are. Those who are following using the workbook. Abolish. Abolition. Then compete. Competition. Check the T-I-O-N. T-I-O-N. Competition. Yes. Competition. That's our suffix. Pronouns. Pronunciation. Mind about the pronunciation of pronunciation. Pronunciation. We have our I-O-N. I said mind about other changes in the spelling. We have N-O-U. Here we have N-U. Those are the other changes I'm talking about. Master those changes and follow them. Noun formation will always be something like a game to explain. We'll change to explanation. Explanation. Nothing like another I. P-L-A-I-N. Here we have P-L-A-N. To form the noun explanation. Explanation is the noun form explain. We have formed it using suffix I or N. Next. Using suffix meant, we can use suffix meant to change given verbs to abstract nouns. So we have the first word as pay. Write your pay here, plus the suffix that teacher has told you to add, and that is meant. To form the abstract noun payment. When are you making the first payment? That is an abstract noun payment. Next is encourage, which changes to encourage. Meant. Encouragement is our abstract noun from encourage. Then amuse, change it to amusement. Amusement is the abstract noun from amuse. We are so far on part B, that's on page 60. That's where our table is. Then punish, punishment. He was given a tough punishment. Punishment is our abstract noun for punish. You can't see a punishment, you can't touch it, you can't carry it and take it to your neighbor. That is an abstract noun. Agree, agreement. You can now underline the suffix in the different the different nouns from settle, we form settlement. Double T-L-E-M-E-N-T, that is settlement. Move, movement, movement. Migration. The definition of migration, you talk about the word movement. Movement is an abstract noun commonly taught, yes, necessary in the definition of, yes, migration. Oh, is it transport? I think transport as well. Commit, commitment. A double M making a double M. Commitment. And lastly, employ, which changes to employment. There's a lot of employment opportunities in Kampala. Employment is an abstract noun from verb to employ. What next? What next is about the formation of abstract nouns using the suffix NCE. NCE, yes. We have the words were given and the nouns were listed. That's where we are. We have assist, which changes to assistance. Mind about the word endings. Mind about the word endings. ANCE. Here we have ANCE. Here we have exist, which changes to existence. ENCE. Yes. Then we have disturb, changing to disturbance. ANCE. That's why I didn't want to use ANCE as our suffix. I prefer to use NCE because some nouns are formed using ANCE, others ENCE. There's a slight difference somewhere. Endure, endurance. The act of enduring is endurance. Yes, check the spelling. Letter E has disappeared. We have replaced it with A, then we have added our suffix as guided by the teacher, and that is NCE. That's the third table, I think, about formation of abstract nouns on page 60. It is at the bottom of page 60 and at the top of page 61. Those who are following using the workbooks, you are able to see that. What next? We have remember, which changes to remembrance. Remembrance. B-R-A-N-C-E. Remembrance, we don't have an E between B and R. There is no E. The E disappears. The spelling changes that take place should be mastered and understood very well. Enter is our last word in the topic, in the list here, which changes to entrance. Enter has T-E-R. Here we have TR, no E. That's entrance. Entrance is our last word in that list. Like I told you, that list is similar to what we see on page 60 and 61. Then next, we look at words that are formed using, nouns that are formed using suffix, suffix ty. Let's look at the list and try to complete it. And this is uniform changing to uniformity. Uniformity. Then punctual is an adjective. Turn into a noun, you'll get punctuality. Punctuality. Correct. Original is our adjective. Turn it to a noun, originality. The originality of your plans. Originality. Humble is our next word, and that humble is an adjective. Turn it into a noun, you'll form the noun humility, abstract noun. From humble, people who are humble are those that show humility. Humility is our next noun in the list. Next, from safe, the adjective safe turns to safety. And that is the abstract noun. Safety. Our next word here is superior. Superior. Changing to superiority. Superiority. From superior, you get the noun. The abstract noun you cannot touch as superiority. What next? Able, turning into ability. as the abstract noun. Ability. Then curious, that is curiosity. Curiosity. Mind about the spellings, because when we tell you to use the correct form of the word given brackets to complete the given sentences, commonly from number 1 to 10, yes, this is the target. Spellings, nouns, adverbs, verbs, or different parts of speech you can think of are all asked about from number 1 to 15. Yes, you have to be very careful. That's where you'll find them. They are very common there. You need to master these spellings as guided by the teacher. Next, we have enemy, which changes to enmity. E-N-M-I-T-Y. That is enmity. Enmity is the abstract noun from enemy. So, check your workbook on page 62. Page 62, that's where there's an activity. Yes, you're supposed to complete it following the guidelines you have been getting in the previous notes in the workbook, plus what you have been getting from the teacher on the board. So you complete that activity of 9 questions, after which you do something about still noun formation. This is a tale about forming adjectives, forming nouns. Those are abstract nouns from adjectives using suffix NESS. We have lazy as shown as our example 1 in that table, changing to laziness, where the last Y is changed to I before we add ness. Busy should turn to business. Then happy, happiness. Ready, that is readiness, that is the application of NESS as our suffix. That table goes up to page 63, where you're supposed to complete it using the guidance shown in the heading before, just at the top of that table. What next? Page 63. Page 63 continues with noun formation. There are nouns that are formed differently. There are abstract nouns that are formed differently. Some of them, yes, I spotted this, and I identified the nouns that are formed by adding suffix ty from this very table I'm talking about, and that's on page 63. There are some that are already here, then the rest are here. They are formed without following any specific any specific rule. Just look at what the word is, turn it into a noun, you will see it turning into a completely different word. One example I'll give you is wide. The word wide in column 1, W-I-D-E. Let me first rub off here so that people can see what I'm talking about right from the board. We have the word wide, and when you turn wide, the adjective, to a noun, you'll see wide changing to width. Yes, that's width, and that is our noun. Next, supreme. They are formed differently. Supreme, and that is supremacy. Supremacy is our abstract noun from supreme. What is the next word I can talk about? That is envious. Envious. What does envious become when it is turned to a noun? That is envy. E-N-V-Y. Any similarity? Totally no similarity. And those are the words we have talked about in that last table on page 63. There are many more. Look at them. Try and form nouns from the given words. Check the adjective grid. Turn it into a noun, you'll get this word. G-R-E-E-D. There's no general rule I can give you for those. So we say they are formed differently. We have loyal, which changes to loyalty. Maybe it can fit in that category. Yes. We have beautiful, which changes to beauty. Then long changing to length, plus broad, which changes to, let me write this as well, somehow strange, to breadth. Can be breadth, can be broadness. Yes, so that table is also there. Try to find out other answers and complete the table meaningfully. The table proceeds, it does proceed. On the next page there is something a bit, what I should have called maybe a computer error. Words are given, then others were left out. So you may turn the given nouns into, the given adjectives into nouns as shown on that page 64. Check that is truthful, which will be truth, the noun is truth. Then powerful, the noun is power, plus merciful, where the noun should be, the abstract noun should be mercy, M-E-R-C-Y, and plentiful, where the abstract noun should be plenty. So, having completed that table and many others before that, we can now do an activity, and that's on page 64 up to 60. 65, does it reach 65? No. The exercise we have is only on page 64, and that is up to those last 3 questions, where we have homophones use the given words in sentences. We have ban, ban, ban. Hey, there are 4 bans, by the way. Then need. I explained the meaning of need at the beginning of the sentence. at the beginning of the lesson. So you can use need in a sentence. You can as well use this need to in a sentence. Plus flower, then flower. Same pronunciation, different meanings. That is flower and flower. They're called homophones. So our next lesson, we'll be looking at the use of those structures as you say them. The why can help. When I remember this, I'll tell you, one of these questions was in a PLE paper. Yes, 2019, not 2019. 2020 PLE had one of these questions, one of these structures. So be careful when you are taught P6 work. Most of it follows you up to P7. This is upper primary. English is almost the same. Listen to teachers, follow what you are taught to do, and in your English, make sure you focus on good handwriting and reading with understanding. If you employ those 2 techniques or tactics, English will be among the simplest subjects you will always face. So, God bless you till we meet again. When we meet again, those structures will be at the top of our list of items to discuss. God bless you till we meet. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.